I was going back and kind of watched some British comedies before we came to England. I just kind of wanted to, I guess, really dive back in and sort of see what it was that I love so much about it, because I remember when I was about 11 is when I found Monty Python.
Right, okay.
And when I found the Holy Grail, it was really, it was so eye opening for me.
Have you seen Life of Brian?
Of course,
Yeah.
yeah, it's amazing.
The best sketch comedy in Britain ever, in my opinion, is League of Gentlemen. League of Gentlemen? Never heard of them.
No, I haven't. No.
Phenomenal. There's 3 of them. They have a fourth person who writes, but they write their own stuff. There's 4 writers and 3 of those 4 perform. They play all the characters bar a couple. They might have a scene that needs 4 people to have an actor come in, but predominantly they play all the characters. They play men, they play women. That when they play women, it's not, oh look, it's hilarious as a man in a dress. They play a convincing woman. They are pound for pound writer and performer. They are 3 phenomena. BBC prime time. It's a miracle they got that darkness on prime time because it's dark.
I like that the BBC and British comedies don't pound something into the ground until it's dead. Because speaking of The Office, when The Office went off the air, the second Michael Scott, when Steve Carell walked down that airport corridor and he took off his microphone and he got on that plane, that should have been the last ever episode of The Office. And instead, they ran it for another 4 seasons, I think, 3 or 4 seasons. And by the end of it, you just went, it just ain't got what it had, you know?
10 seasons, right?
It was something like that, yeah.
So do you know how many the British Office did?
Not over 2. 2, yeah.
They did 2, and they did 2 hour-long Christmas specials. So they did 2 Christmas specials, but they're only 1 episode. They were long episodes.
Sure.
But they have the hour long each, right?
Mm-hmm.
But nonetheless, they did 2 series and 2 Christmas specials. And as you know, I know Ricky Gervais, and I asked him why they did 2 series, and he said, well, it's a documentary about people it's pretending to be a documentary about people being filmed in their office for a TV documentary.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're going to become famous eventually because they're going to be on television. So how can they continue to work an office for years if they're celebrities? Because celebrities go on to do other things.
Yeah.
Do you remember on the Christmas special, in the English one, he went on a blind date for a date site. And he went, you might recognize me when I was on a documentary about an office. And she went, oh, you're not that really annoying manager, right? So the point is, the Christmas special, you saw them going out to the real world where they had been seen on. So Ricky Gervais's logic was, you can't have 10 seasons or several seasons in an office if they're on a documentary because they're becoming celebrities. But the American office allowed you to suspend your disbelief and not question. So you could argue that Ricky Gervais was overthinking it.
Sure.
You could argue it's a valid point. And you could argue that maybe his agenda was to give an excuse for not doing more than 2, so it becomes absolutely legendary. Because if you give too much of something to people, it starts to become a bit boring.
Absolutely.
2 is really, really teasing us, isn't it? It's a phenomenal sitcom. I've used that word twice now. And then we're going to leave you with no more. And what happens? It becomes legend. Have you seen Fawlty Towers?
I know what it is. I've never seen it, though.
John Cleese, he's Monty Python.
Yep.
They, I think, did 12 episodes. It's no more than 16. I think it was 12. This is as classic as British comedy gets. So you've got Fawlty Towers, 12 episodes, and Ricky Gervais, The Office, 2 seasons. What I've learned about British classic comedy is you give them less and you leave them going, this was amazing. So there you go. But, American, apparently, if you have a meeting with an American producer about a sitcom idea, the first thing they ask you is, where will that character be in 10 years' time?
I didn't notice it until David Cross came to BBC and did The Increasingly Bad Decisions of Todd and Margaret. Because I loved that series. And at the end of it, they did 2 seasons. And I was like, oh, well, where's the third? And they went, no, there's no more, man. Because this is it. Because here, we want to give you something, and everybody kind of wants to move on to the next project and see what that next big thing is going to be, and they want to keep working. There was a great line from was it called House of Cards? Yeah, House of Cards, which also was originally, I believe, a English show, which then Kevin Spacey did for Netflix in the US. House of Cards, it was like a very political show, and there was a woman on there who said, why would you ever work at a job for longer than 2 years? And I think about that all the time. Like every job I ever had, I got to that 18-month mark and went, okay, now I got that 7-year itch. What else is out there?